Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is Sibaya. I have a quick message that I want to put out there to the public, the elect, those that are waiting for an answer from me. A lot of people have reached out to me concerning traveling, concerning the PCR test. And as you know right now that pretty much every country that is open to America is requiring a PCR test within 70, or a PCR results of a PCR test within 72 hours of arrival of whatever country. In the last month or two, Egypt has opened up its borders to all Americans without a PCR test, but this is no longer in effect as of September 1st. Now all countries are even Egypt is requiring a PCR test within 72 hours. So the question is how do we get through these borders, or any other borders for that matter, exiting Babylon, America, without being defiled or infected by whatever they may be injecting through these PCR tests. Well, first I want to say that the PCR test is an umbrella of tests. So there are different kinds of tests that come underneath the umbrella of a PCR test. Right now, what seems to be the protocol of what most of the American laboratories are using is the nasal swab, the nasopharyngeal NP swab. This is the very thing that I say in wisdom that Yah has warned me to warn you, do not do. That they are laced, right? The nasal swabs are laced. When you're talking about putting a Q-tip that far up your nose or that far in the back of your throat, you are touching your cell membranes, and you are touching your cell brain membranes that can inject a microscopic chip in you, or nanotechnology without your awareness, y'all. And we cannot trust this. So how do we get past the PCR test? Well, there are other options that are coming to the table for you to take the PCR test without having to do this nasal swab. So my first recommendation is Yale University has developed a saliva testing protocol that is approved by the FDA a few weeks ago. And the labs, any lab that's doing PCR tests can run this test using Yale's protocol. Its protocol has proved to be 90% concordant with the nasal swab test. So it is legit as a PCR test. As far as I know now, 250 labs across America have requested it, and I'm sure that number is growing, but I do not have a way to find a list of what labs are using that protocol. So that may be up to you as an individual to find a lab or a clinic that is using the spittle, the saliva testing that Yale University has approved, or the sputal test that I understand universities are using as well as they're testing their college students. If you are a college student or if you're registered, you may have access to take that test. This is what I recommend. No other test. Nothing that's being put into your system, into your mouth, or swabbing you. Only you excreting your thing. I'm also okay with the blood prick. But that's not in effect right now. So that is one way. The other way to get around the PCR test, as far as doing the nasal swab, is that there are clinics that are offering a self-administered test, meaning that you can go into the clinic and privately administer it yourself. With that being said, it's still a nasal swab or a throat swab test. But what you can do to get around it and not diminish the quality of their test is that instead of putting the nasal in your nose, on your mouth, if you're in a situation or you're brave enough to tell the doctor, I will use my finger instead, you can use your own finger and put your saliva on the swab. You can use your own finger to do whatever you got to do and put it on the swab. We know some people that have done it this way, have passed it, and it's legit. The question is if you're brave enough, or Yah will allow you to find a situation or a doctor that you can ask, can I do it this way? So this is something that you might want to consider. There are other things that are coming up as time goes on that may open up the door for people to take the PCR test without being defiled or taking the risk of something being put inside their systems or their brains. So I warn you again, Israel, I have said through the mouth of this prophet, Yah has warned me, do not take the nasal swab test. Do not allow anything to be put in your membranes or in your soft tissue or in your nose, in your brain. Um, I think that's all I want to say for now concerning that. And good luck, you guys. Pray that Yah may count you worthy to escape. Be careful, everyone, concerning these tests. It is not just the vaccinations that we must overcome. It is not the only way that they are creating an abomination in your temple. Until then, Israel, shalom, shalom.